Incredible act of kindness. Restaurant owner discovers life-changing truth after one night with homeless veteran. Lisa stared out the rain-smeared window of her diner, the flickering neon sign casting a lonely glow against the stormy night outside. The usual sounds of sizzling burgers and clattering dishes felt distant as the town, once bustling with laughter and chatter, now echoed with silence. Her heart felt heavy. Each bowl of chili served was a reminder of her family's cherished legacy handed down through generations, and now teetering on the brink of closure. The diner was not just a business, it was a piece of her soul. With the days growing colder and customers dwindling, she stepped outside for a breath of fresh air, the dampness biting at her skin. That's when she saw him, a weary figure huddled against the entrance, wrapped in a frayed blanket. His eyes were sunken but sparkled with unyielding spirit. "You all right?" she asked, her voice softening. "Just looking for shelter from the storm," he replied, his voice shaky yet strong. Without thinking, Lisa knelt down beside him. "How about a warm meal?" His surprised gaze met hers, and for a moment, time stopped. As they shared a meal at a wobbly table just outside the diner's door, the rain softened into a whisper, creating an intimate cocoon around the two of them. James, a homeless veteran, began to weave a tapestry of his life, how he once dreamed big, with a family and a purpose, only to lose it all to unfortunate circumstances. Lisa listened, captivated. Each anecdote he shared resonated deeply within her, twisting her heart with empathy. She saw glimmers of her own struggles reflected in his eyes: disconnection, sorrow, the seeking of belonging. As their meal came to an end, Lisa felt a warmth in her chest that had been missing for too long. "You remind me of my son," she confessed, fighting back tears. He left to chase success, but her voice trailed off. The pain of detachment felt like a storm raging inside her, much like the weather around them. Before they could delve deeper, the distant sound of a siren pierced the night. Town officials were troublesome enough, and just then, they approached, eyes narrowed with concern. "What are you doing with that man?" one of them barked. "This diner has a reputation to uphold." Forcing herself to stand tall, Lisa felt the weight of generations pressing down on her, her ancestors' dreams resting on her shoulders. "He is just a human being, and he deserves compassion," she replied, her voice steady despite the turmoil brewing within. "I can't have this hurting my business." The official spat, his face hardening. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. In the face of this threat, an idea sparked in her mind. What if she organized a fundraising event? Rally the community around a greater cause, a chance to support James and remind everyone of what a diner truly represents: home, warmth, and heart. Slowly but surely, she began to piece together an event, her determination blooming brighter against the gray backdrop of hostility. But just as laughter echoed and plates clinked during the event, the official returned, eyes flashing and demands sharp. The night felt electric, the balance between hope and despair was precarious. Lisa stood at the brink of a choice that could reshape her legacy and reconnect her fractured family, holding on to the possibility that sometimes, the greatest sacrifices are the ones that truly define what it means to be a community. As the clock ticked on, she wrestled with the question that clawed at her soul: would she protect the diner's history or fight for James and perhaps mend her own family's wounds too? The air shimmered with unresolved tension, leaving her heart racing for what lies ahead. As the guests mingled and laughter echoed, Lisa felt her heart quicken. The event had turned into something heartfelt. She glanced at James, who was animatedly sharing stories with a small group gathered around him. His laughter brought lightness to the room, an antidote to the heaviness that the town had been shrouded in for too long. But just then, the door swung open. The official strode in, face set like stone. The laughter dwindled, and an uneasy hush fell. Lisa's pulse raced. She had hoped he wouldn't show up, hoped he would let this evening unfold as a celebration of kindness. But here he was, ready to wet blanket the joy that had begun to blossom. "Lisa!" he shouted, cutting through the soft notes of music and chatter. "You need to shut this down. You're risking the diner's reputation for a man who's just going to bring trouble." Her breath hitched in her throat. The tension felt electric, charging the air. "No," she said, her voice steady though quaking inside. "James deserves this. We all do. Tonight's about showing that we care, about reminding everyone that kindness matters." He scoffed, crossing his arms. "Kindness? You're making a fool of yourself. This is going to ruin you. You need to think about your business. You don't have the luxury of charity," he sneered. Lisa clenched her fists, feeling her grandmother's spirit surging within her. "This isn't just about me, it's about our community," she replied, the strength in her voice surprising her. "If you can't see that, maybe you're the one who needs to rethink your position." The tension in the room hit a boiling point. Guests began to glance nervously at each other, unsure of whom to support. The warmth felt threatened by the cold reality of someone who only saw numbers. Suddenly, James stepped forward, his presence commanding attention. "I may not have a home, but this diner feels like one to me," he said, his voice cutting through the thick air. "I am not here to cause trouble, but to show how much we can help each other. We all have wounds. Can't we heal together?" His words struck a chord. Several patrons nodded, murmuring in agreement. A couple raised their glasses, prompting others to join in. The notion of community began to flourish amid uncertain faces. Lisa felt hope flutter within her. "This is what we need," she thought. A small step forward, a spark igniting. The official's expression darkened as the tide of support surged against him. "You're making a big mistake, Lisa. This isn't how it works," he warned before storming out. The door swung shut, and a collective breath was released. Conversations resumed, laughter returned, and the air buzzed with renewed energy. But the moment had changed something in Lisa. She could feel the weight lift ever so slightly off her shoulders. As she moved through the crowd, she caught snippets of conversations blossoming, dreams shared, and troubles aired. People were connecting in a raw, honest way that she had hoped for but never fully anticipated. Yet, as the night wore on and the plates emptied, a sense of unease still lingered at the edges. The official's warning echoed in her heart. With the diner's future uncertain, what would tomorrow bring? In the midst of the joy, doubts crept back in. Would this event be a beacon of change, or just a temporary glimmer in a long, dark night? And when the storm subsided, how would she face her choices, the diner's legacy hanging in the balance, and the struggle for James only just beginning? The door swung open once more, but this time it was her son, Alex, walking in. His face revealed an unexpected expression that took her breath away. He hadn't called, hadn't warned her he was coming. Why was he here now, right in the middle of everything? Was it to support her, or to pull her back into a past she was trying to leave behind? The clock ticked, and all eyes turned to him. The air thickened with anticipation. How would this reunion unfold? Lisa's breath caught in her throat as she locked eyes with Alex. The boy she'd known had transformed into a man, and the weight of memories rushed back, tinged with both warmth and regret. It wasn't just the surprise of his arrival, but that look on his face, a mix of concern and determination. "Mom," he said, his voice cutting through the chatter, almost like a knife. He moved through the crowd, the din fading slightly around him. Each step felt like an eternity for Lisa, every heartbeat echoing her worry. What if he was here to confront her about the diner? Or to criticize her choices, those she had fought so hard to claim? "Alex!" she exclaimed, forcing herself to stay composed. "What brings you here?" He hesitated, glancing around as if assessing the scene, the laughter that had resumed but was laced with jittery undertones. "I saw the flyer," he said finally, his gaze locking with hers. "I came to see what you were doing." His words hung in the air, loaded with implications. Lisa's heart sank. Had Alex come because he thought she was making a mistake? Had their past, their fractured relationship, influenced his need to intervene? She sought the words to bridge the gap but felt them slip away. "This is a community gathering," she said, forcing a smile. "We're celebrating kindness and helping each other." "Is that all?" he replied, his brow furrowing. "You let that guy scare you into closing it down? You should stand your ground." "Alex, it's not that simple," she started, but his frustration silenced her. "You think I'm here to judge? I'm just worried about you." The intensity in his voice made her flinch. "This isn't who you are, and you know it. You used to believe in something." The laughter around them felt distant, like it belonged to another world. Lisa took a breath, feeling the swell of emotions rise. "I wanted to do something good, something real," she admitted, her tone softer now. "Then why stop?" he pressed. "You're more than this diner, Mom. You can be a leader for people who actually need a voice, not just a woman in an apron." At that moment, she felt the barriers begin to crumble. His words echoed truth she'd buried deep within. What if this wasn't just about saving the diner? What if it was about stepping into the shoes of her grandmother, of being a whole person again? "Alex," she started, but the tremor in her voice surprised her. "You don't understand everything." "No, I don't," he interrupted gently. "But I know that this isn't who you are. Fight for what you want. Don't just think about what could happen if things go wrong. Think about how it could change everything if you win." Tears pricked at her eyes, the bittersweet taste of pride and fear welled up inside her. This was her son, stepping into the role she had always wanted him to embrace, a supporter, a challenger, and perhaps a partner in this fight. That a sudden burst of energy filled the room again, laughter erupting as James rallied everyone into a group photo, his charismatic presence a beacon amid the anticipation. "Come on," Alex said, grabbing her hand and leading her toward the group. "Let us be part of this. Show them what this is really about." Just as they stepped forward, a sharp voice interrupted. "You both have no idea what you're meddling in." It was the official's voice, maddeningly familiar, creeping back like an unwanted shadow. Tension rippled through the crowd once more, and Lisa's stomach twisted. Would they have the courage to stand together against his negativity? Would she find the strength to lead? As all eyes turned to the incoming storm, the moment felt electric. The night was far from over, and perilous choices loomed ahead, ready to challenge everything she was starting to embrace. Would this event truly be a turning point for them all, or a misstep that could unravel everything? Lisa's heart raced as she saw the official loom closer, his expression a blend of smugness and authority. The energy in the room shifted, laughter trailing off into murmurs of uncertainty. People exchanged glances, gauging the temperature of the moment, unsure of where it would lead. She squeezed Alex's hand tightly, feeling the comforting warmth of his grasp, a reminder that she wasn't alone. "Look, everyone," the official said, fixing his eyes on the crowd. "This isn't a party, this is a nuisance. You think you can just disrupt our town's order with your little gathering here?" His voice dripped with condescension, and Lisa felt the urge to shove back. But would anyone stand with her? James stepped forward, unwavering. "We're just spreading kindness. It's good for the community." His voice was firm, but Lisa noticed the trembling in his fingers. He had been such a cheerleader for this initiative, she wished she could give him strength in that moment. "Good for the community?" The official scoffed. "What you're doing is promoting chaos. No permit, no plan." He gestured dismissively, like one swatting a fly. "Get this nonsense under control or I'll have to shut it down." Gasps rippled through the gathering. Lisa sensed the tightening grip of fear that was threatening to spill over into full-blown panic. They were on the brink of something here. Would they back down, or rise against the looming threat? "Wait!" Lisa called out, her voice cracking with the sudden weight of her emotions. She released Alex's hand and stepped forward, heart hammering in her chest. This is about more than just a gathering. This is about our community finding its voice again, a place where people feel seen and heard. The crowd leaned in, hanging on to her every word. Lisa felt the adrenaline rush through her, growing stronger with each breath. What we want to create here is a haven for kindness. For support. No one is trying to disrupt anything. We just want to connect. The official's expression shifted slightly, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his face, but it quickly vanished. And who will pay for the mess? Who is liable if something goes wrong? A small voice from the back piped up. We can raise funds. We can put our money together. It was Clara, a single mother who had been one of the first to join Lisa's initiative. It dawned on Lisa how many people were eager to fight alongside her, to offer support where it counted. Hope flickered in her chest. That's right. Alex said, nodding toward Clara. If we work together, we can do this right. We'll organize, we'll create structure to manage it. We're not just a random gathering. We're a community. The crowd began murmuring, voices rising with courage. We're a community. We deserve a voice. Lisa felt a surge of strength swell within her, one that mingled with disbelief. Could they really do this? Could they stand united against opposition? Who here believes in kindness as a cause? She asked, her voice rising as the murmur swelled into a chorus of agreement. I do. Me too. Let us take a stand. As the voices crescendoed, a sense of unity enveloped them. Lisa looked over at Alex, pride swelling inside her. He stood beside her, his determination shining through. The official's bravado cracked, but not for long. You think this will work? Just remember, if you fail, it will fall on you. We won't fail, Lisa said, locking eyes with him. We'll succeed, together. And in that moment, she felt a shift deep inside her. It wasn't just about the diner or broken partnerships, it was about revitalizing a dream that faded too quickly. With the crowd rallied behind her, the atmosphere charged with purpose, she took a step forward, ready to embrace the fight. Yet, just as she turned to engage the crowd again, her phone buzzed in her pocket. It was an unknown number. The words on the screen made her stomach drop. I know what you're planning. Don't think you can go ahead with this. Suddenly, that electric moment was pierced with dread as she realized the stakes were higher than she'd thought. Would they be able to stand strong? What consequences awaited them? The night was far from over, and the fight was only beginning. Lisa's fingers trembled slightly as she gazed at the message, the words etched in her mind. She took a deep breath, pushing back the alarm roaring inside her. It felt like a warning shot fired right at her heart. She glanced back at the crowd, their energy still pulsing with determination, but now uncertainty shadowed her confidence. What is going on? Alex's voice broke through her whirlwind of thoughts. His concern was palpable as he stepped closer to her. You look like you've seen a ghost. Someone just texted me. An unknown number. They know about our plans, she whispered, the weight of the message pressing heavily on her shoulders. The thrill of rallying her community was now tinged with fear. What if they were being watched? What if they couldn't go through with it? What? That's not right. Just ignore them. Alex urged, his brows knitting tightly together. But Lisa could feel the fear crawling under her skin, its presence nagging at the back of her mind. Ignoring it felt impossible. The official was still there, watching them with calculated interest, like a hawk waiting for an opening. Lisa turned back to him, her heart pounding. We're not backing down. We'll find a way to make this happen, despite the risks. James stepped up, emboldened by her conviction. We've faced challenges before. We've found strength in each other when it counted. His words sharpened the resolve in the room, rekindling the fire of unity that had ignited moments ago. Exactly. Clara chimed in, fisting her hands firmly at her sides. These threats are just meant to silence us. We can't let that happen. We are stronger together. The crowd responded with fervor, voices rising higher. We are strong. We will stand. As Lisa listened to them, her spirit lifted. They were in this together. She couldn't buckle now. Yet the weight of an unseen enemy loomed over her. The message felt like a seed of doubt infiltrating her hopeful vision, and she hated it. The official cleared his throat, cutting through the roiling emotions. If you're not prepared, then this is a waste of time, he sneered. He must sense the shift in the crowd's energy, the conviction that began to glow like a bright ember, eager to catch fire. I suggest you move along. Enough of this nonsense. Not a chance. Lisa shot back, the spark of defiance igniting. You don't get to dictate our community's compassion, we'll define it ourselves. The words burst forth like a dam breaking, and the audience erupted. With every shout, every resolve that echoed around her, she felt smaller pieces of the doubt fade. Yet, beneath her bravado, anxiety coiled. What was waiting beyond the crowd? The crowd began chanting. Kindness is power. Kindness is strength. It became a mantra, growing louder, echoing against the walls of the diner. Lisa felt alive in that moment, and the dread that had threatened to crush her spirit softened at the edges, but even in the midst of that solidarity, the reminder of the text loomed large. Who knew about their plans? What would happen next? As she surveyed their faces, a resolve bloomed within her. They couldn't just do this for today, they had to be ready for anything that might come their way. Let us meet tomorrow, she proposed, speaking over the cheers. We'll work on a plan, raise funds, and alert the community. We need to be prepared. Nods of agreement spread through the crowd like wildfire. But as Lisa felt this new surge of hope take root, her phone buzzed again. There's more than you think at stake. Choose wisely. The words sent shivers down her spine, slicing through the warm air of excitement, just as the darkness of uncertainty came creeping back. Was she prepared for whatever was coming? They were embarking on a mission fueled by kindness, but was she leading them into danger? As the crowd celebrated their unity, unyielding in their vision, Lisa's heart raced with a mix of hope and fear. Would they face this challenge together? The rallying cry felt electric, but Lisa couldn't shake off the sense that something more loomed in the shadows, ready to challenge not just their dreams but their very safety. And just like that, she knew that this was only the beginning. The morning light burst through Lisa's window, illuminating the small papers strewn across her kitchen table, ideas, notes, and sketches of plans for the community initiative. Each thought felt crucial, yet the dark undertones of the message she received still hung over her like a cloud. She folded her arms, staring at the chaos of reminders to herself, but all she could think about was the looming threat. Her phone buzzed on the table, and her heart lurched. It was Alex. Are we still on for the meeting? His voice was steady, but she could hear the underlying concern. Yes, we are, she replied, trying to sound more confident than she felt. I'll be there in an hour. After a quick shower, she dressed methodically, each article of clothing chosen to armor her against the uncertainty ahead. Today was going to be a turning point. Or maybe a tipping point. When she arrived at the cafe where they were meeting, it was buzzing with anticipation. Friends and neighbors gathered around, sipping coffee, sharing laughter, and whispering plans for promoting their cause. Lisa stepped inside, greeted by warm smiles that reflected the unwavering hope she was trying to cling onto. Hey, there she is. Clara waved, pulling Lisa into a quick embrace. You ready for this? Sure, Lisa said, masking her anxious pulse. Let us get started. As the group settled, Lisa took her place at the head of the table. Thank you all for coming, she began, her voice steadier than she felt. We need a plan not just for our event, but for what might come against us. The words felt pregnant with the weight of the unknown. James nodded. We should all put out feelers. See if anyone else has received strange messages or threats. It's better to be prepared. The conversation morphed into strategizing. They divided into groups, discussing potential community outreach, fundraising ideas, and the logistics of the event. Lisa started feeling the excitement surge within her again, like gasping for air after being submerged. But the pang of anxiety nudged at her. The text weighed heavy in her thoughts. As plans unfolded, laughter echoed against the cafe walls, briefly dulling the ache of doubt. Lisa marveled at how resilience sprouted from fear. But just as she felt the warmth of their camaraderie, her phone lit up again. Another notification. When she glanced down, her heart dropped. It was a picture. A snapshot of her house, a clear view of the front porch. The caption below read, "You should really watch where you're going." Lisa. Clara's voice broke into the haze of her panic. "Are you okay?" Lisa felt her hands shaking. "No, I just got another message. It's a photo of my home. What does it say?" Alex pushed in closer, concern written all over his face. Fighting to swallow her fear, she read it aloud, "You should really watch where you're going." A heavy silence enveloped the cafe. The laughter faded. This was suddenly too real, too threatening. The atmosphere shifted from hopeful planning to palpable anxiety. James leaned in, his voice quiet but steady. "We need to report this. We can't ignore it any longer. We need to involve the police." "Let us not make any decisions yet," Clara interjected, her brow furrowing. "We don't want to create panic." But Lisa felt the room shift in her chest. Panic? No. We need to be smart about this. We're on the verge of something significant. We can't let this stop us. But we also can't brush it off. Their faces reflected the struggle between fear and courage. Lisa's breath quickened as she spoke, "I want us to keep moving forward. But we have to take care of ourselves first." Outside, the winds whipped up, a storm threatening to converge. And beyond their planning, something deeper loomed, a choice that could change everything. "Are we ready to commit?" she asked, her heart racing as she laid out the stakes. Not just to the cause, but to each other. As they looked around, a new resolve bound them together. They knew this could be the moment that defined them, but the dark shadow of uncertainty lingered at the edges of their resolve. Were they truly prepared for what lay ahead? Would their kindness indeed be their power, or would it expose them to dangers they couldn't foresee? And as Lisa pondered the possibility of an unknown fate closing in, she realized one undeniable truth: they would either rise or fall together. But which path would they choose? The cafe buzzed with quiet energy, but for Lisa, the air felt heavy. The weight of that photo pressed on her like a dense fog, stifling her ability to breathe. What if this is more than just someone trying to scare me? She thought, feeling every eye in the room squarely on her. "Let us write a statement to the police," Lisa said, her voice stronger now. "We can't afford to downplay this. I'll do it right after this meeting." Alex nodded, concern etching deeper lines into his forehead. "I'll go with you. They might have other cases similar to yours." "Yeah, we should all stay in touch, check in regularly," Clara added, determined. "If something's off, we need to stick together." They dispersed into their smaller groups once more, tossing around ideas for the event, yet the underlying tension intertwined with the hopeful chatter, like a bitter undertone in a sweet melody. Lisa felt a knot in her stomach, the surreal mix of anxiety and determination fueling her every thought. "Okay," pivoting back to the fundraiser James initiated, breaking their momentary silence. "We need to contact local businesses for donations. They might want to get involved." As voices merged into discussions of vendor lists and raffle prizes, Lisa momentarily lost herself in the comfort of the familiar. It reminded her of her school days, organizing bake sales or charity events. The collective excitement was infectious. But the gnawing unease lingered just beneath the surface. When the meeting began to wind down, they gathered for a final huddle. "So, does everyone feel good about our strategy?" she asked, studying their faces. A chorus of affirmations rose up, but Lisa spotted the hesitance tucked into each smile. And let us remember, she interjected, we're in this together. If any of you feels uncomfortable or if something feels off, just reach out right away. As they broke up to leave, Lisa walked alongside Alex. You don't have to come with me to the police, you know. I can go alone, she said, trying to lighten the gravity that loomed. I'm going to be there, he insisted. You need someone to back you up, especially with everything that's happening. She appreciated his resolve. Thank you. They left the cafe, stepping into the cool air. A storm loomed in the distance, clouds promising rain, mirroring the turmoil welled up inside her. Each raindrop seemed to echo the weight of her decisions. As they approached her front porch, she slowed her pace. There it was, the very spot captured in that photo. Her heart raced. It felt like being trapped in a surreal nightmare, where reality and fear bled into each other. Lisa. Alex's voice cut through her thoughts. You good? Yeah, just thinking. She took a breath, trying to wrestle her fears. I'll be fine. Just checking that the doors are locked, she said, more to reassure herself than to answer him. Making their way inside, Lisa's phone buzzed again, just as she closed the door. Dread pooled in her stomach. It's probably another message, she thought, her hand trembling slightly as she reached for it. Instead, she found a notification from the local news, an article titled, Mysterious Threats in the Community, Residents on Alert. It featured a photograph of their cafe, the same spot where they had gathered earlier. The article detailed complaints about messages being sent to people involved in community efforts. Alex. Her voice rang out, a wave of panic surging within her. What is it? He came rushing over, eyes darting from her pale face to the screen. This isn't just about me, it's larger. She pointed to the headlines, urgency paving her voice. We could be targeted because we're trying to make a difference. As they both stared at the glowing screen, a realization washed over her. They had stepped into a storm that was beginning to swirl around them. A dangerous one, yes, but with the potential to ignite something bigger than fear, a movement. The sound of thunder rumbled in the distance, shaking the very air around them. Are we ready for this? Alex asked, determination igniting in his eyes. More than ready, Lisa replied, a flicker of hope coursing through her. And just as they made their pact to face the storm together, another car pulled up outside. The headlights brightened the darkness, and a figure stepped out, familiar but shrouded in unexpected mystery. Could this visitor hold a key to their journey forward, or would they bring new dangers on their doorstep? The figure outside moved closer, the shadows casting uncertainty over their features. Who could it be? Lisa wondered, her pulse quickening again as she and Alex exchanged a glance filled with silent questions. Let us see, Alex said, taking the lead. He opened the door cautiously, revealing Jamie, another member from their community group. She stood there drenched from the rain, her eyes wide with urgency. Lisa. Alex. I need to tell you something. Her voice trembled a bit, filled with a mixture of fear and determination. What's wrong? Are you all right? Lisa asked, stepping aside to let her in, the storm outside echoing the brewing chaos within her own mind. I saw the article too, Jamie said, shaking off water like a soaked dog. But there's more. There's something I've been keeping quiet about. Lisa's heart sank. Jamie was usually jovial, filled with enthusiasm for their community efforts, but something had shifted in her demeanor. What do you mean? Alex pressed, his protective instincts shifting into gear. I've been getting messages too, but they're not just vague threats, they're directed at the fundraiser, she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. I thought they were just jokes at first, but they've gotten more specific. Fear gripped Lisa like a vice. What do you mean specific? I've received pictures of our planning meetings. They're watching us, Jamie said, her eyes flitting about as if searching for invisible eyes in every corner of the room. Where are these messages coming from? Alex asked, his voice firmer, trying to anchor the turmoil swirling in the room. Jamie hesitated, then pulled out her phone. "Here's one of the messages," she said, showing it to them. It was chilling. A chilling caption promised that if they continued, they'd regret it. Lisa felt her stomach churn at the thought of the camera invading their privacy, documenting them without consent. "This is unreal," Lisa muttered, the weight of their situation wrapping around her even tighter. They weren't just fighting against an unknown threat, they seemed to be entangled in something bigger, darker. "What are we going to do?" Jamie whispered, her eyes darting between them. All this time, they thought they were banding together for a noble cause. Now, that very cause felt like bait, attracting whatever darkness prowled around them. "We're not backing down," Alex said firmly, his gaze translating confidence into the air. "If they want to scare us, then we'll take this to the police together. No more hiding." Lisa nodded, the flicker of determination growing into a flame. "We have to make this public. We have to warn the others," she replied, her voice rising as resolve filled her. "We're stronger than their threats. If we keep silent, we let them win." Jamie looked at both of them, admiration and fear swimming in her eyes. "You're right. We can't let them stop us. We need to fight for our community." As they stood together, fists clenched with newfound purpose, the storm outside broke open. Raindrops hammered against the windows, but inside, a different storm brewed, a willingness to confront the danger lurking just beyond their doorstep. In that moment, something shifted. They were no longer victims. They became warriors of their cause. But just as they began to strategize their next steps, Lisa's phone buzzed again, cutting through the intensity of their resolve. Her heart raced, knowing well it could be more threats or worse. "What now?" Jamie asked, moving closer, concern brimming in her eyes. "Just, give me a second," Lisa murmured, focused on the screen. The message glowed ominously, but what it revealed took her breath away. "Someone's watching us. They're closer than we thought," she said, barely managing to steady her trembling hands. Fear met the fire of determination, and the question loomed heavy in the air: how could they face an enemy that was always one step ahead? Before Lisa could fully comprehend the implications of that message, her mind raced with possibilities. Who could be watching them? Had they been careless in their planning? Her heart sank under the weight of betrayal, the tight knot in her stomach growing tighter. "Let me see it," Alex urged, leaning over her shoulder. Lisa turned the screen so they could all read the message. The words practically dripped with menace, a promise that chilled her to the bone. It felt hopeless, an oppressive shadow hanging over their plans. "Maybe we should call the police right now," Jamie suggested, anxiety threading her words. "But, what do we say? We're being watched. They'll think we're paranoid. We need to take action, not sit around worrying," Lisa insisted, her voice steadier than she felt. She could sense the support of her friends, and it pushed her forward. "If they think they can intimidate us, we need to show them we won't back down." "But what if it escalates?" Jamie countered, her brow furrowing. "What if we're only making it worse? Or maybe we're igniting a fire," Alex interjected, his tone confident yet cautioning. "We still have our whole community, our friends and family who believe in what we're doing. If we warn them." The truth of Alex's words struck a chord. They were more than just three frightened individuals, they were part of something bigger, and if they shielded their fears, they risked leaving their community exposed. Lisa steadied herself, adrenaline coursing through her. "Okay, how about this? We hold an emergency meeting tonight. Everyone needs to know what we're dealing with. If we combine our efforts, we'll have the strength of our community behind us." "Tonight?" Jamie asked, her voice faltering a bit. "Doesn't it seem a bit hasty?" "Maybe," Lisa replied, "but we have to act fast. The longer we wait, the more power they gain. We need to stop them before they can make their move." The rain continued to batter the windows, sounding like the thumping of hearts filled with resolve. This was no longer just about a fundraiser. A line had been drawn, and they were on one side, ready to fight for what was right. "All right, Jamie nodded, determination washing across her features, replacing the flicker of fear. Let us not waste any more time. Alex grabbed his coat from the hook by the door. I'll go gather everyone. We meet at the community center at 8. And maybe we should reach out to the local news, too. They need to know what's happening. Lisa felt a surge of gratitude for Alex's unwavering spirit. And I'll start drafting a message for the group. Something powerful. Something that helps them understand what's really at stake. As they stepped out from the claustrophobic safety of the house, the storm seemed to echo their collective fear and resolve. Each raindrop felt like a reminder that they were encased within something much larger than themselves, a moment that needed action. But just as they reached the bottom of the steps, another message came through Lisa's phone, vibrating angrily against her palm. She hesitated, the heavy feeling creeping back. Don't check it now, Jamie said, sensing her hesitation. You'll just get distracted. No. This couldn't wait. She knew that in her gut. With a shaky breath, she opened the message, her heart a wild drumbeat. The ground beneath her suddenly felt unsteady. Wait, Lisa whispered, her face paling as she read the latest note. It's not just a threat. It's an ultimatum. They want a meeting tonight too. They know where we'll be. This wasn't a mere coincidence, it was a challenge thrown at their feet. And now, the stakes were higher than ever. Now what? Alex asked, an edge sharpening his voice. The fear resurfaced, clawing at her. But as she looked at her friends, she realized something: they were in this together. Whatever the danger was, they would face it as one. Now we find out who's truly behind this and why they are so desperate to keep our voices silent. Rain pounded against the windows, creating a rhythm that matched the chaotic pulse of Lisa's heart. The room felt charged with tension as they prepared for the night ahead, a crucial meeting filled with uncertainty. Would they face their shadowy threat, or would the fear stifle their resolve? But regrouping was essential. Deep breaths filled her lungs, and the taste of hope lingered, albeit cloaked in trepidation. We need everyone on board tonight, Lisa said, her voice firm as she glanced at Alex and Jamie. They exchanged nods, determination flickering in their eyes. Minutes felt like hours as they gathered at the community center. The air thrummed with anxious energy, a mixture of camaraderie and fear. Everyone who believed in kindness and community had come together, faces illuminated by the warm light, yet shadowed by uncertainty. Thank you all for being here, Lisa began as the group settled into a circle. I know you've heard rumors, but we're facing something real, a threat that wants to silence our voices. She held up her phone, the screen reflecting the nervous energy swirling in the room. But we're not backing down. Tonight, we will unite. A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd, embers of courage igniting. Clara, a single mother from the diner, stood up, her voice fierce. We are bigger than any threat. Let us raise our voices to drown out this fear. Yes. Someone called out, and the applause built, echoing off the walls like a wave of solidarity washing over them. Lisa felt hope swell within her chest. Perhaps tonight would be a turning point. As ideas flowed from forming a neighborhood watch to pledging support for one another, Lisa realized this wasn't just about defending her diner, but rather preserving the spirit of community that had defined her family's legacy. Then, as Lisa stepped back, a sudden hush fell over the room. The door swung open, and the official from before stepped inside, his expression a mixture of arrogance and derision. What is this? A gathering of vigilantes? He sneered. The tension crackled through the air, metallic and biting. Not a vigilante, just a community ready to fight for what's right, Lisa shot back, standing tall, echoing her grandmother's spirit in that moment. The crowd rallied behind her, a chorus of support flowing like a tide. James stepped forward, bolstering their cause. Every person here believes in kindness. Don't underestimate the power of unity. What a naive sentiment, the official scoffed, scanning the room, undeterred. You all should be cautious. You're playing a dangerous game. Lisa took a step forward, the weight of their fears transformed into resilience. We've faced threats before. We're not afraid, we will fight for our community. With that, an empowered chant echoed through the room. Community. Kindness. Strength. Each voice lifted a layer of fear, unraveling the dark clutches that had threatened them. As the energy surged, a shadow crossed the back of the room, a man lurking at the edge of the light. The crowd quieted again, focused on the new arrival. He stepped into the warmth, recognition ignited within Lisa. It was a son of one of the unofficial leaders from the neighborhood who had faced challenges of his own. "Listen," he said, his voice strong, breaking through the tension. "I know what it feels like to feel isolated and threatened. But the only way to fight back is together. I've seen the threats. They're ugly, but back away when confronted with community." His words struck a chord. Lisa felt eyes shifting from worry to a solid resolve. If they united, if they pushed back, they could stand up to whatever darkness had come their way. The energy spun anew as Jamie raised her voice. "What do we need to do? Let us spread the message, let us share our stories. Let us set up a community defense fund. We'll gather evidence and plan our next steps to report this." Alex added, determination etching his face. They mapped out strategies, the room buzzing with ideas, hearts alight with purpose. Lisa's fears began to settling into the realization that they were on the brink of something powerful, a movement defined by resilience and unity. But just as they felt that wave of momentum surge, there was a loud banging on the door. Hand in hand, the group shifted, an uneasy silence falling. A deep voice thundered from the outside, "Open up. We need to talk." Fear trickled back into their minds. But Lisa knew they had come too far to go back now. They were ready to confront whatever awaited them. "Let us face this together," she declared, gripping Alex's hand tightly as she stepped toward the door, flanked by her friends. With a swift motion, she flung the door open, and the rain-slicked figure stepped into the warm glow of the room, dripping determination along with raindrops. They had reached a pivotal moment, exposing their hearts to both the fear and power of what lay ahead. In that moment, as the wind outside howled like a wild creature, Lisa realized the power of community was unstoppable. Together, they had transformed their fears into strength. And as the storm raged beyond their walls, they stood grounded, prepared to take on whatever would dare approach. Now, it was their turn to write the story, one defined by bravery, love, and the undeniable power of change. Together, they would rise. This is where the story concludes, but the journey has just begun. To witness more incredible transformations, you need to subscribe now and hit that bell for all notifications so you won't miss a moment. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep these stories alive. Comment below to share your reactions and feelings about this ending, because your voices matter. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Remember, only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.